Guys, what's up? Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma for those of you who are new, and I would love it if you guys subscribed and stuck around. I am so excited to be sitting down and filming another bookish video for you guys. I am finally feeling re-inspired again after having like the craziest, busiest, most hectic last few months of my life. So the fact that I'm actually sitting down excited to film a video, I am taking full advantage of it. So as you can tell by the title of today's video, I have the biggest book haul I have literally ever done on my channel before, and probably the biggest book haul that I will ever do. I have done some damage. This is a collective book haul. I by no means bought all of these at once. I have been accumulating some of these since like last year. Also, I recently started a new job where I get a very amazing discount on books. I get ARCs and I am so grateful for that. So I have done a little bit of shopping here or there. So yeah, I know what you're thinking. No, Emma, you did not need these books. And you're right, I didn't. I have a huge physical TBR as it is, but I have used the excuse of having a discount because okay, I'm not going to justify myself. I know this is crazy, but like I said, this is probably the biggest book haul I will ever do in my channel. I think we're pushing upwards of like 100 books, you guys, so sue me. I also accidentally ordered another bookshelf, like one more bookshelf that I technically needed for my new apartment. That's okay, because we're gonna make good use of it because all of these books need a new home. So we're gonna be here for a hot minute, so be sure to grab a drink, grab a snack, and get cozy because we're gonna be here for a while. So I'm just gonna try and rapid fire through these. They're in no particular order. They're scattered all around me right now. My TBR cart is overflowing. I definitely have a lot of organization to do after this, so I'm probably gonna film a bookshelf organization video that you guys will see probably after this video goes up. But without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into the biggest book haul I've literally ever done on my channel, maybe even the biggest book haul ever on YouTube. That could be saying a lot, but be sure to subscribe, like this video, and follow me over on Bookstagram, TikTok, etc. But let's just go ahead and get into it. So first off, I'm going to start with the box sets that I have because I have two and I'm very excited about both of them. So the first box set that I have is the white edition of the Twilight series. I was the biggest Twilight stan in school. Like literally my 5th grade friend group had like a book club where we would read Twilight at school, and we had to get like permission from our parents to like watch it at like sleepovers and stuff. So this is a book series and movie series that is very near and dear to my heart, but I haven't read the books in so long, so I'm very excited to have these. And the white set just looks so pretty on my shelves. I cannot wait until I'm done filming this video and can put all these books on my shelf. But that's the first series that we have. It is so stunning and so beautiful. I'll try to link some of like my favorite books from here on my Amazon storefront, which will be linked down below, so you guys can shop like all my favorite books and special covers on Amazon if you want. That is the first box set that we have. Okay, next box set I have, I am so excited because I am literally the biggest Harry Potter fan ever. Like I grew up reading and watching Harry Potter, and it was just like a thing that sort of like connected my siblings and my family together. But I finally got my own set of Harry Potter. My husband actually bought these for me, which is another life update, you guys, that I'll go into in a vlog. But I did get married recently, which is really exciting. But anyways, completely besides the point. But I got my own little set. My husband actually got these for me. So weird saying my husband in a video, but these are like the Scholastic book editions. I still want like another collection of Harry Potters that are really hard to come by. They're like the adult, I think, editions of Harry Potter, so I definitely want to order those for myself eventually. These covers are very cute, and let me see if I can get one out and show you kind of like what the front looks like. Covers are very like juvenile looking, so the other ones that I want are a bit more adult and whatnot. But yeah, I got finally a box set of the Harry Potter books so I can reread them. We're definitely gonna be filming a reading vlog on those during the fall or winter. Box set aside, let's just go ahead and get into all the books on my TBR cart. First, I have some that are overflowing on the floor, so I'm gonna pick those up and rapid fire through those first. So the first book I have, I actually thrifted, and this is What You Hide by Natalie D. Richards. I've only read one book by Natalie D. Richards, and that was For Found Dead, and I really enjoyed that book. I believe this one takes place in a library, which is so fun, like reading like a little thriller horror mystery that's set in a library. sounds so exciting. So I'm definitely going to stockpile a lot of these for like a fall or like spooky reading vlog, but just the premise of this one, it sounded really interesting. Next, I have another young adult like mystery and thriller, and this is The Society for Soulless Girls. I'm not going to go into too much depth about all of these books, but I'm pretty sure this is just about like murders that take place at like this prestige academy for girls, and I think either the murders start happening again or someone starts investigating them. But I just loved the cover of this one, and the synopsis on the back really drew me in, and this is by Laura Stephen. Next, I also thrifted this book. I thrifted a lot of these books actually, which is really exciting. This is The Vampire Diaries, and I believe this is the first book in the series. I'm not sure how many books there are, but I really like this cover, and I've never actually watched The Vampire Diaries show, so I kind of want to read this, at least the first book anyway, just for like nostalgic purposes, because this book series is so old, as well as the TV series, and maybe read this and start the series sometime this fall. Next, I have a dark romance, I believe, which I have never read any dark romance, I don't think, but I kind of want to film like a dark romance reading vlog. I saw this one, had never heard of it, but it's called Distrust, and it's the first book in the Hallowed Crow series by G.N. Wright. The back just literally sounded so insane. I looked up some of the reviews, and some of them weren't that good, but I kind of just want to film like a dark romance reading vlog. So let me know if you want to see that, because that is so completely outside of my comfort zone. Got the first one in this book series just because I saw it at Half Price Books, and I would have never like stumbled across this or ordered it myself, but because it was at Half Price Books and it's pretty much in perfect condition, I decided to just pick it up and give it a try, maybe one of these days. Then Elle Kennedy, who is my like OG comfort author, I found the last book in like the people on the cover, like the original Off Campus series, and I believe this is the last book, The Legacy. So excited to read this one. I love Elle Kennedy. She's like an auto-buy author for me, and she's like my guilty pleasure comfort author. So I actually have this book already, but I think I'm gonna give the cover that I have to a friend, because I recently found that the Barnes & Noble exclusive editions are prettier because they have like embossed stamps and such on them. So I got Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. This is probably one of my favorite books that I've read this year. And somewhere in this pile I have the newest release as well, which that's probably my favorite cover of all time. I'll show you when we get to that book, but I think I'm just gonna get rid of that one or sell the one that I have, because I have the Target edition, and the Target like exclusive stickers aren't removable. They're just like printed on there. So I like how the Barnes ones, you can take off the sticker, and it was the same price for literally like a prettier cover with like embossing and whatnot. So I've already read this book. Love this book, highly recommend this one. Lauren Asher has also quickly become an auto-buy author for me as well. So next up, I have the first in a fantasy book series. I believe this is YA fantasy. These aren't new books by any means, but I think the covers have been reinvented this year, so that's why a lot of people are finding these books now. This is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir, and I just love this cover. I've heard a couple people talk about this, and I'm just so excited to read it. There's 4 books in the series, I believe, and each one has like this little art design on the spine, and once you get all 4, they line up in order and they make like this picture on the spine. So I'm so excited to read this. I've heard a lot of good things about this one. I feel like YA fantasy for me is a little bit easier to digest and dabble into, because I do not read a lot of fantasy. So excited to have this one, and I hope I like it so I can get the other books in the series and have a pretty little picture on my shelf. Next, I have a book that I saw at Half Price Books actually, and I didn't buy it there, but I just kept thinking about it, so I decided to pick it up, and it's called The 1000th Floor by Katharine McGee. Not a new book by any means, but the cover just really drew me in, because it's like this tall building, I believe, in like New York City. So it says, "Welcome to Manhattan 2118. New York City is a city of innovation and dreams." And I think it follows just a bunch of teenagers, and I think the higher you get in this like high-rise complex, the more you are like successful, or the pretty you are, or that sort of thing. So it follows like a few different main characters like in each section of the high rise, I guess, and it's really like futuristic and dystopian. So I had never heard anything like this before, so I'm so excited to read this one. Okay, so a really cool thing about my new job is that I get a lot of ARCs. So I get access to ARCs all the time, which is so exciting. So I get to kind of try out books that I wouldn't normally read or stuff like that. So I haven't gotten an ARC from an author that I really love just yet, but I've gotten some pretty cool ARCs. So there's definitely going to be a few ARCs scattered throughout this, because I picked up quite a few since starting my new job. But the next two are arcs actually. This is Matt Haig, who is the author of The Midnight Library, which is like a super duper popular book. This is his newest novel that's coming out, I think in September, and it's called The Life Impossible. So then I have another arc by an author that I've never heard of before, but this is The Days I Loved You Most by Amy Neff, and the background of this just made me like want to melt into a puddle of tears. So I feel like this one is going to be a tearjerker for sure. I think it's about like this couple that fell in love in the 1940s, and then it kind of like follows their life now because they have these kids and they're all grown up, and I think the wife is diagnosed with like a terminal illness and she only has like a few months or weeks to live. So I think it just follows them in her final days and kind of like the end of their relationship, or how their life together comes to a close. Okay, just a couple more books I have here on the floor, and then we'll get into the books on my TBR shelf. I have Collide by Bal Cabra. I am so excited to read this. I have a lot of sports romances on here, I think, actually. This one is like an author that I never heard of before. I was drawn into the cover. It's kind of giving like Icebreaker Maple Hill series by Hannah Grace vibes, and I'm so excited. I think I'm also gonna film a reading sports romances for a week because I love sports romances. People may dog on them, I just love them, especially when it's like hockey vibes and stuff like that. I just love anything college sports romance. I think is so fun. Like I eat those books up. So next I have Summer Fridays by Suzanne Rindell. This is like a women's fiction contemporary romance book, and I fell in love with the cover, and I'm just so excited to read this one. It's set in New York City in the summer of 1999, and I think the two main characters, if I'm not mistaken, think that both of their significant others are cheating on them. I could be wrong, and they somehow like strike up a connection. And just anything set in the 90s in New York City, which is like one of my dream cities, one of my favorite cities of all time. I love it. So stay tuned because this is going to be in a summer reading vlog. So I have Funny Story by Emily Henry, and I bought the paperback from Blackwell's UK just because I was not going to wait for the US paperback to come out a year later, and I was not going to buy the hardback. So excited to read this book. I think I'm going to save this one for my honeymoon for the plane. It's just so crazy talking about how I have a husband and we're gonna go on a honeymoon. Like, he also did amazing with The Ring, you guys. Amazing. But anyways, I'm so excited. I am Emily Henry's biggest fan. Not really, she has bigger fans than me, but I love a good Emily Henry book. Happy Place made me feel things that I'm still feeling a year later after reading that book. So I definitely think I want to save this one though and read it on the beach or on the plane or vacation. But I absolutely love Emily Henry, so I'm so excited about that book. Okay, moving on to all the books on my TBR shelf. I'm going to stop giving explanations for all of these books and just kind of like rapid fire because we've already been sitting here for 20 minutes and we haven't even made a dent. So let's get into it. Next up, I have another arc, and this is by Laura Dave. This is The Night We Lost Him, and I believe this is the author of The Last Thing He Told Me, which is a show on Apple TV. I got the arc, and this book doesn't come out until October, but excited about this one. I've heard a lot of good things about this author. So next up, I actually just finished reading this book, so you'll see my thoughts in a wrap up eventually. This is The Dixon Rule by Elle Kennedy. Again, love her. This is the second book in the off-campus series, not off-campus series, the Campus Diary series, but I did enjoy this one, not as much as the first one, but I really did like this one. I just love Elle Kennedy. Okay, and then next up, another like auto buy author for me. I've only read a couple of her books, but I absolutely love her. That's Abby Jimenez, Just for the Summer. I am either going to save this for vacation as well or just start reading this one next because I literally cannot wait to read this. I'm so excited. Also, I feel like I'm talking like a million miles a minute, so I apologize about that. Next, I have The Idea of You by Robin Lee. As you can see, I did start this book, but this is basically that glorified Harry Styles fan fiction, and it's now a movie with Nick, whatever his last name is, and Anne Hathaway, and I DNF'd this book, and I'm almost done with it, so we're probably gonna try and like finish that because I literally have less than 100 pages left. Yeah, this is like a glorified fan fiction age gap romance kind of situation, and wasn't necessarily a bad book, just definitely not one of my favorites. Next, I have a little YA mystery slash thriller, and that's The Counselors by Jessica Goodman. The Summer of a Lifetime was never supposed to include a dead body. Summer reading vlog for sure. I love anything horror slasher vibes for the summer, and I feel like this is just gonna give me like the Fear Street movies on Netflix vibe. So excited to read that one for sure, just by the pool or something like that. Next, I have a book that is probably my favorite cover of all covers of all time, and that's Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher. This is the second book in the Lakefront Billionaire series. I just think this book is so stunning. I think this, Funny Story, and Just for the Summer are like my top TBR for the summer, but I don't know if I'm gonna read this one first or Abby Jimenez, but I absolutely love this cover. I absolutely love Lauren Asher, and I'm so excited to read about Rafa and Ellie. I have a sports romance. I have Behind the Net by Stephanie Archer. This, I believe, is the first book in the Vancouver Storm series, and I've heard a lot of good things about this one, so excited to have another sports romance book on my roster. Next, I have a couple YA books, like a few YA books actually. So I have Delirium by Lauren Oliver. I think this is in a trilogy series. It's like a dystopian kind of book about how love is illegal, and anybody who feels those feelings or whatever, like, supposed to be like a cure for it. So I'm excited to read this one. The cover is what drew me in, but I remember reading a lot of Lauren Oliver books when I was younger, so I'm not sure if this is one that I've already read, but I am excited to read it. And then I got the first book in the Shatter Me series. I've heard nothing but good things about this book series, but I feel like I'm so late to the bandwagon, but I just bought the first one just to see if I like it, and I can kind of like slowly work through the series, because some series are like a time commitment, you guys. Like, why are some series so long? Like, so freaking long. But I'm glad that I finally bought this book. We'll see if we ever get around to reading it. Next, I have a book that I'm so excited about, and that is The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. I've read all of K.L. Walther's books, and I've rated them so highly because her books are so fun and so fast-paced, and I just love them so much. So I'm excited to read this one by the pool or the beach this summer. Next, I have quite a few more YA books. I remember in a video, or like a couple videos, like a couple years ago, I dogged on YA books so hard. I was like, YA books just aren't for me. But now I feel like I tend to reach for a lot of YA books just because they are so fast-paced and easy to read. And it's just like such a nice accomplishment, just like reading a book that's super easy to digest and that you get through super quickly. And I feel like if you're in a reading slump and just need like a fast-paced book, YA is always the way to go. So I have another book by Natalie D. Richards, and this is 6 months later. Pretty sure this is about like a teenager who falls asleep or whatever. She falls asleep in study hall. It's the middle of May, but when she wakes up, snow is on the ground and she can't remember the last 6 months of her life. So that sounds very interesting. And I have another like YA mystery or thriller. That's The Cheerleaders by Kara Thomas. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of this or have read this book, but excited to read this one. Okay, my camera just died in the middle of me filming, of course, but next up I have Perfect Little Monsters by Cindy RX Hay, and this one is basically about the queen of the school, the most popular girl in school, gets murdered at a party, and a bunch of people like pin it on this other girl who says that she doesn't like her or something. I think she works to find out the truth before someone else dies, because I think someone is like targeting the popular kids in her school. So short. Like, that's why I also love YA books. Like, you will rarely come across a YA book that's more than like 300 pages. So next up I have book 1 and 2 of the Debutante series, I think is what it's called, by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I have Little White Lies and Dead Little Scandals. I have read the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and I absolutely loved it. It was one of my favorite book series of all time, and I just bought these 2 books because I hope I enjoy it. I didn't like The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, but I'm hoping I like this series. Next, I have Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas. I have never read anything by Penelope Douglas, so maybe we'll include this in a reading vlog sometime soon. This book I'm so excited about. I have Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I finally ordered the paperback from Blackwell, so I'm so excited to dive into this. I think I want to film a fantasy reading vlog. I've heard nothing but good things about this book. It's won a bunch of awards. Like, so many people have raved about it and rated it 5 stars, and I think this is one of the prettiest fantasy covers I've ever seen. I love it so much, and I pre-ordered Reckless from Blackwell's as well so I could get it in the paperback, but I hope I like this book because then that would have been pointless to order that one. But I really do think I'm gonna enjoy that because of like the romance, kind of like Hunger Games aspect that it has to it. Next up, my husband actually ordered me all of these books on Amazon. These are the rest of the books in the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver. I have the first book and then like the second to last book. The first book is in like the newer covers because I couldn't get it in these beautiful out of print indie covers, but I have Reckless in the independent covers. So I think Flawless is the only one that's currently out of print, but these might be now as well. But I got Hopeless by Elsie Silver, which this one has an engagement ring on it, so that is So cute. But then I also got Powerless, which I think is the one that I'm most excited to read because I think it has a ballet dancer in it. And then I got Heartless by Elsie Silver, and these are like some of my new prized possessions. I can't wait to emboss them and read them. They did come a little bit damaged, but can't complain too much. I'm so excited to put these on my shelves. These are also some of the prettiest book covers and spines I've ever seen on a book ever, so I'm very excited to have these in my collection. Next, I have Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver. This is the first book in the Ruinous Love trilogy. Leather and Lark also just came out. So I think this is like a dark romantic comedy, I guess, if you can even put those two genres together. But I'm very excited to read this, and if I like it, I'm gonna pick up Leather and Lark as well. Next up, I have a book by Monica Murphy, and that's Lonely for You Only, and I believe this is a novella in the Lancaster Prep series. That series I've read the first one of, and I didn't love it too much. I also have another book from that series that I haven't read yet, but then I got this one. I don't think you have to read that series in order. I think they're all just like interconnected standalones. I could be wrong. This one sounded interesting because I think one of the girls falls in love with a guy that's in like a boy band or something like that. So next, I also think this book series probably has the prettiest covers of any book series of all time, but that is Magnolia Park's Into the Dark by Jessa Hastings. I have all of the books in the original covers, and I love this series. I just have to be in the mood to read it because it is so emotionally taxing for me. Like, it is so drama, so kind of like sad, like unexpectedly sad, but I absolutely love these covers. This book is thick though, and I'm currently on the second Magnolia Parks book. I think that's Magnolia Parks The Long Way Home. I only got like 20 pages in because I have to be in the mood to read those books. So I am just so excited to have the last Magnolia Parks book in this cover. It's beautiful. Next, I just got this book at Half Price Books because I remember loving this book when I was in middle school, and that's 13 Reasons Why by Jay Asher. I also watched the TV series this summer, and that TV series is so crazy, and I'm a huge fan of Dylan Minnette, who plays, what's his name? Played Jensen in that show. He also has a band called Wallows, which I absolutely love them too. I just got this book for like nostalgia purposes, basically. Next, I have a couple more YA books. So I've never heard anyone talk about these books. So I have Tag You're Dead by Catherine Foxfield. I think this is kind of like similar to like Nerve or something, but this reality star that has like this game show or something that's like live streamed, and it's supposed to be like a pretend game of like assassin, but then people actually start dying. Like, it takes like a really dark turn. Super like short book, so excited to read this one. I have Hate List by Jennifer Brown. I believe this is a bit more like hard hitting. I think, I'm not sure if this is like mystery or thriller or just fiction, but I think there is a hate list that this girl and her boyfriend make, and she does it like all in good fun, like kind of how you would do like a burn book or something like that, where it's like, oh, I really don't like this person, that sort of thing. But I think he takes it more seriously, and I believe he starts like killing people or targeting people at their school, and so people think it's like her fault because the list was her idea, but she didn't mean for anyone to die. So I'm very excited to read this one. I've never heard anyone talk about it, but it just sounds so interesting to me. I also feel like this cover is one of the most beautiful I've ever seen. This is Picking Daisies on Sundays by Liana Sincotti, and I've seen this author on TikTok. I believe I follow her. She actually like designed this cover as well, and she like markets her book really well, but it's like the cutest little pink cover. I think this is just like a second chance romance or something like that, but it doesn't like end the way that she thinks. I think she like falls in love with her best friend, but his feelings aren't reciprocated or something like that. So just a cutesy little romance. I kind of want to read this one this summer as well. Next, Call Me Crazy, but I bought all the books in the Boys of Toman series by Chloe Walsh because I love the new covers, like with the ombre spines and stuff like that. I already had the first book, Binding 13, but I bought the second book, which is Keeping 13, the third book, which is Saving 6, the fourth book, which is Redeeming 6, and the fifth book, which is Taming 7. I am unfamiliar with this series. I've just heard a bunch of people talk about it and say that they like it, so I decided to pick all of them up. I really do feel like I will enjoy this series. I kind of skimmed a few pages of the first one, and I really liked the writing style, so excited to fall in love with these characters, but I feel like it's gonna break my heart for sure. Got a drink. I should be drinking water, but I have these little Trader Joe's sparkling guava beverages. Look how cute these are with like pink books. Ooh, so cute. But anyways, I'm gonna drink some of this now because I'm literally losing my voice. Last book I have on the top row of my TBR cart is Five Broken Blades by Meg Corland. I'm gonna be honest, hate hardcovers. I hate them. I only bought this book for like the spine. Do you see the detail on that? It is gorgeous. I think it's 5 different couples with like 5 different tropes or something like that, like 5 different romances and 5 different tropes. I mainly just bought it because of how beautiful it is. It is so stunning. I normally don't buy hardcovers because I hate them, but this book was like an exception, like I had to. Next, I have another sports romance, and that is Unsteady by Peyton Corinne. Never heard anyone talk about this. I just loved the cover. It was giving like Ice Princess, which was one of my favorite movies when I was younger. So very excited to read this. I think it's also like a figure skating and hockey romance. Maybe romance authors, we should find another trope. I know that hockey romance is very popular and like seems to be a genre in and of itself these days, but this one's also short, which is nice. Like I love Elle Kennedy, but why are her books like 500 pages? Next, I have Powerful by Lauren Roberts, and Barnes & Noble exclusive, like this tiny little book, which is super cute. But this is just like a novella in between Powerless and Reckless. So excited to read this whole series. Maybe we'll film a reading vlog on that once Reckless comes in the mail in July. So next up, I have a YA book, and this is My Life with the Walter Boys. This is a new series on Netflix. Maybe it's not new, I don't really know, but I've heard a lot of people talk about it, and I kind of wanted to read the book and watch the series because the series keeps popping up on my Netflix homepage, and I'm like, wait, I need to read the book. So I have another YA book, and this is The Dare by Natasha Preston. I've heard so many good things about this author. She just writes a lot of like YA mystery and thriller books. The main character's town, all of the seniors at her high school have to play like a prank or something like that, but apparently the prank this year is super dangerous, but there's like a price to pay if you don't take the dare or whatever. So again, super duper short, so I feel like this one is going to be so easy to breeze through. Next up, I have When Stars Come Out by Scarlett St. Clair. The main character can see the dead, turn spirits into gold coins, blah 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 blah. She goes into hiding and goes to like a normal school. Well, she loses the coin and then a classmate ends up dead. So I just saw this on like a display at Barnes & Noble, and I was like, that sounds pretty good. Next, you guys, is probably one of the best thrift finds I've ever found. This cover of A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Like, are you kidding me? It is so beautiful. I hope that one day I can thrift my whole Sarah J. Maas collection again, because I have all of her books pretty much, but I want to thrift all of them and like the older covers. I just feel like that is a book lover's dream, is to have multiple copies of the books that they love, especially like original copies, special editions, all that sort of thing. But I freaked out when I found this at the store. I might include that in like a bookish vlog or something like that, because I do have clips on my phone from that. But I freaked out. Like, literally one of the best thrift finds ever. Next up, I also thrifted a bunch of books, which I am so excited about, and maybe some of you guys will understand. But if you've been subscribed to me for a while, you guys kind of know like my weird and nostalgic obsession with the Pretty Little Liars series, like the book series. I also have a weird obsession with the TV series as well. Like, I have a weird emotional attachment to that show. Like, that is my comfort show, or at least one of my comfort shows. I've watched that series so many times. I've also been collecting the book series for so long because my mom got me like a Barnes & Noble gift card in like middle school or early high school, and I bought the box set of Pretty Little Liars, like the first 4 books, and fell in love with them. Like, those are probably the books that I've reread the most in my life. Like, I would reread those like every like couple of months in like high school and stuff, and I remember taking those books to college with me too and reading them. I don't know, it was weird. I have had like this weird obsession with thrifting all of the Pretty Little Liars books, and I found the last ones that I needed all in the same trip at Half Price Books, and I was freaking out about this as well. So I literally found this one. I was like, oh my god, that's what I needed. Looked to the side, found this one, and I was like, oh my god, I also needed that one. Then looked up, they had these ones too. So I was like, I just knocked out my Pretty Little Liars collection. Obviously some of these are like beaten up, and some of them are like hardcover, and some of them are paperback. When you're like thrifting an old book series and like the original covers, like, you can't be too picky. So I'm just so excited about this. I kind of want to film like a reading vlog, probably not like this year anytime soon, but just like rereading all of these books. And I haven't even read all the books in the series, but they're so much different than the TV show as well. But it's like healing my inner child. Seriously, it is so fun having adult money that I shouldn't be spending on books, but I was very excited about those finds. Next, I was also very excited about these finds. So anyone who is a fan of Lauren Asher knows that she's like re-releasing books, even like older ones with Bloom Books. So I actually bought these at Half Price Books as well. I found the first 3 books in the Dirty Air series in the original covers. Throttled, I got Collided, and I got Wrecked. I couldn't find the 4th one, but I found all of these. So I am so excited about this. Again, just like collecting books from your favorite authors in different editions. Like, I love that. I have on this cart somewhere the new cover of Throttle, just because I'm also gonna get all of those as they come out. I haven't read this series yet, but I love Lauren Asher, and I think this is like one of her older series, but they're like F1 romances, which is so fun. I love Charlie Leclerc as well. I don't really watch F1, but I do love Charles Leclerc. Okay, next up I have The Kill Order by James Dashner. This is a book in the Maze Runner series, but this was like a UK cover that I found at a thrift store. Next, I got Tiny Pretty Things, which is a book about like ballerinas. It's like a mystery thriller ballerina type book. That's also a series on Netflix. It had 1 season and I absolutely ate it up, and then they canceled it, which I am so upset about. I feel like all of the little shows that I love to watch on like Amazon and Hulu and Netflix always get canceled after 1 or 2 seasons, and I need more. So I bought the book. Next, I have Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I feel like this is a really popular book series. I'm not really sure what this is about, other than that it's like a power struggle fantasy kind of book. I don't really know, guys. I don't really know. Next up, here I have Throttled in the new covers. So here's the new covers, which I love. They have like kind of like a metallic text on them, and the spines are different, but this is the old one. Still so cute, but I just love indie covers as well. So another Lauren Asher book. Next up, I have All Your Twisted Secrets by Diana Urban. I believe this is a YA horror / thriller book. They're invited or like selected for like this prestigious dinner or something. So they're invited to this dinner, but then they get like locked inside of this house and have to figure out how to get out. I'm not sure who dies or if anyone dies, but there's like danger and like it's like high stake, I guess. Next up, I have another fantasy book that I've heard a lot of people talk about, and that is When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. This cover was just stunning, and everyone who's talked about it says that it's like really, really good. So I definitely wanted to pick it up. Not sure if I'm going to read this one anytime soon, because I have other fantasy books that are higher up on my like priority TBR. I also love female main characters in fantasy. That's like my favorite thing ever. Next up, I have another book by Natalie D. Richards, and this is Gone Too Far. A high schooler finds like a list of all of her classmates like deepest, darkest secrets and sins, and she only knows about them and she's not going to do anything with it. But then I guess she gets like an anonymous text saying that she has to like out all of these people or else or something like that. So Be With Me by Jennifer L. Armentrout, but this is like her romance alias called J. Lynn. I think this is a series as well. Yeah, the Wait For You series. So I've read Wait For You. I'm not going to read Trust Me, but then this one is the 3rd book, Be With Me. I liked the writing style of the first book. I just didn't really love the couple that much. I think I rated that one like a 2 or 3 stars, but this one is about a ballerina, and I will read anything that has like a dancer as like the main character because I also grew up dancing. So I love books that incorporate like a dancer character because I love hearing them talk about rehearsals and different moves and all of that sort of thing. I just love anything that has a dancer. So again, not very high up on like my priority TBR, but excited to read this one nonetheless. Next, I have Miss Abby Jimenez. I have the Happy Ever After playlist, and this one just sounds so fun. I think this is like a girl who finds somebody's dog. Like the dog is lost, and that dog happens to be like a rock star like singer, I think, that she like listens to. So I think they like communicate through like playlists, and they text back and forth until he's like able to come like get the dog because he's on tour or something like that. So this one just sounds so fun and interesting, and I wish Harry Styles had a dog that he would lose and then I would find it, so he'd have to come meet me. Next, I have This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. I love Carly Fortune. I feel like she's going to be an auto-buy author for me only because I loved her first book called Every Summer After. I ate that book up. It was like around the time when I started getting back into my reading journey in like 2021, 2022, and I loved it. Did not like her last book, Meet Me at the Lake, like so much that I unhauled it, like literally got rid of that book. I've heard some good things about this book. This is also like a second chance romance book, and I just love the cover. So again, I think I'm going to save this one for a summer reading vlog or for vacation, but again, just short and sweet little summer book. So I get some ARCs through work, but I also get ARCs sometimes sent to me because I post content about books, I guess. So sometimes publishers will reach out and I'll sometimes get some arcs of books, which is exciting. So I have Evenings and Weekends by Oysten McKenna. Never heard of this author at all, but I absolutely loved the cover, and I just think this is set in London, and it's a very character driven book about a set of friends. It's about like summer, this group of friends, like what they're getting up to. Okay, maybe we're gonna add this to our summer TBR, so I will let you guys know. I'm not sure when this book comes out. Normally there's like a little note in here. Okay, it says July 24th, so maybe I'll read this one soon. I didn't realize this was like a summary book. Next, I have Husbands and Lovers by Beatrice Williams. I think she writes like women's fiction, like literary fiction and stuff like that. This one says, two women separated by decades and continents and united by a mysterious family heirloom. Also, sorry, you can hear the garage going underneath me, like underneath my apartment, like some people have their garages. Wouldn't typically pick up anything by this author, but I really liked the cover. It's also given kind of like summer vibes. Next, I received this arc from, I think, St. Martin's Publishing. This one is already out. This one came out in May. I received this arc before I even moved to the city that I'm in now. This is Savor It by Tara DeWitt, and not really sure what this one is about, but it's just a romance book. So next, I'm super excited about this arc actually because I have some friends who really love this author, and I might just give this art to some of them, but I think I want to read it first. But this is Blue Sisters by Coco Mellors. Not sure what this one is about exactly, but this is the author of Cleopatra and Frankenstein, which I haven't read that one, but again, heard a lot of good things. Next, I have a book that I've actually read. This is a YA mystery / thriller, and it's called Their Vicious Games by Jo L. Wellington. I absolutely love this book. I'm not going to talk too much about it just because I'm going to share my thoughts with you in a wrap up, but it is so good. It's like The Hunger Games meets like Pretty Little Liars meets Gossip Girl meets The Bachelor, kind of. It is so interesting. So definitely recommend this one, but you'll hear my thoughts more later. Okay, next I also have another arc. This book is actually out now, and it's like a Barnes & Noble pick of the month for June, but this is Everything We Never Said by Sloane Harlow. Again, never heard of this author, so I don't know if it's their debut novel or what. The main character, her best friend dies in like a car accident or just passes away, and she falls in love with her dead best friend's boyfriend. And I love like messy little books like this. Like, what do you mean you fell in love with your dead friend's boyfriend? Like, okay, next I have The Serpent and the Wings of the Night by Carissa Broadbent. I waited until this came out in paperback, so I bought this book, and now the second book in this series is out, and I probably won't read that one until I can get the hands on a paperback. I've heard really good things about Carissa Broadbent as an author, so very excited to finally read this one. If Only I Had Told Her by Laura Nolan. This is the sequel to If He Had Been With Me, and this is apparently from Finney's point of view, which that book ruined me. That was like a Sarah Caroli book rec that absolutely ruined me last year when I read it, and I'm very excited to read this one. Next, I got Fourth Wing in the first edition paperback from the UK. Stunning. Like, look at this black cover with the gold. I love it. I still have not read Fourth Wing or Iron Flame. I am so behind, but maybe now that I have the paperback, I'll read it. So definitely gonna vlog my thoughts on that one for sure. Next, I have Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. This is the second book in the, I think, Rebel Blue Ranch series by Lila Sage, and her covers just slay every time. Like, Lila Sage, are you kidding me? I also think Done and Dusted and like Swift and Saddled and just this universe was picked up for either a TV show or a movie franchise. I can't really remember, but I am so excited for Lila Sage. Like, I'm freaking out. Next, another book by one of my favorite authors that has also been picked up for like a TV series or something is A Girl Abroad by Elle Kennedy. Again, my guilty pleasure author. I picked this up because it sounds very fun. It's kind of giving like New Girl vibes, but set in London, and I love London, one of my favorite cities ever, and New Girl is one of my favorite shows ever, so this just sounds so fun. I'm so excited. I have My Fault by Mercedes Ron. I believe this is like a trilogy right now at least, and I actually bought the second book in the series in February or March. So who is she? I bought a nonfiction book. Like, are you kidding me? Who do I think I am? Like, I don't read nonfiction ever, but I bought The Defining Decade by Meg J, PhD, and this is Why Your 20s Matter and How to Make the Most of Them Now. I'm 26 years old, 26 and a half basically, and I just feel like I'm not where I thought I would be in my 20s. I'm somewhat content with my life, I guess, but I just want to read this and see if there's anything like eye-opening in it. I feel like I need to start reading some more nonfiction, biographies, memoirs, that sort of thing, because I feel like romance is rotting my brain. But next up, I have Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. I have always eyed these books, but I've never bought them because I am so just like scared of graphic novels. These are like a little YA LGBTQ graphic novel kind of situation. I think one of the characters is openly gay and then the other one is bi, not really sure of his sexuality, that sort of thing, but excited to read these. I feel like they'll be so quick and easy to read, and I believe the show is on Netflix that is out about this, and it just looks so cute and so fun, and I feel like this has become increasingly popular in the past couple of years, so very excited to read these ones and get to know Nick and Charlie. Next, another book I've also read by one of my auto-buy authors. I have Wild Love by Elsie Silver. Absolutely loved this book. I believe this is the first book in the Rose Hill series, and I love how this had some references to the Chestnut Springs series. Absolutely loved that. Elsie Silver knocked it out of the park with this one. I cannot wait for the second one to come out because the cover is like the most beautiful tangerine orange. Loved this book, and I love small town romances. I'm just gonna say it. Next, I have another sports romance, but it is not a hockey romance. It's like a basketball romance. So I have Night Shift by Annie Crown. I have been eyeing this book for months. I finally picked it up and I am so excited. When a college bookworm and the campus basketball star share a sexy encounter in the library stacks, things get complicated. Say no more. I am so excited. Next, I ordered this book from Blackwell's UK. I don't know if this like cover, like the new covers, are available in the US just yet, but I got Consider Me by Becca Mack. I believe this is a series. I don't know if it's called the Consider Me series or something like that, but again, just like a romance, and I believe they're sports romances. What does it say? Another hockey romance, but I'm gonna read this one. One of my friends said she really liked this series. Next, I have Bride by Ali Hazelwood, which I am excited to read. I've only read one book by Ali Hazelwood, and that was The Love Hypothesis, I believe, and I really didn't love that book that much, but I'm excited to dabble into some of her newer releases. I think this is like her first book that's like this. It's like a paranormal kind of romance, I guess, so we'll see what that one is like. I bought Hooked by Emily McIntyre just because this book has horrible reviews, at least from like people that I know. The first, I believe, in the Never After series, and this is like an age gap romance, and I think this girl, Peter's daughter in this, I think they're like businessmen or whatever. They're not actually, it's not actually like Peter Pan and Hook, but I guess his daughter Wendy shows up to James's, so like Captain Hook's bar, and then like he strikes up like a relationship with her, so it's like an age gap like romance, like revenge romance, I guess. I don't know, some kind of dark freaking twisted romance, and I decided to buy it, so don't judge me. Next, I have another book by my auto-buy author Elsie Silver, and that is Off to the Races. This is the Gold Rush Ranch series. She is re-releasing all of these. I unfortunately don't have any of the original covers, but maybe I will one day. But this is the first book. This one is so cute. It's giving me winter vibes for some reason, but I don't really think it is. I think it's just like a cowboy romance. So I think I'm gonna read this one soon, just because I always need my Elsie Silver fix. Next, I have another book by Monica Murphy, and this is All My Kisses for You. I believe this is like a new series that's returning to Lancaster Prep, just because the Lancaster Prep series is a couple years old. I think this is like a new generation of Lancasters and like their love interests. So I guess she falls in love with the quarterback and a player, so I don't know. Next, we're almost done. I have The Confidence of Wildflowers by Michaela Smeltzer. This is an age gap romance. I was 18, he was 31. I don't freaking know. I think they're like next door neighbors or something, but I've heard pretty good things about this book nonetheless. So I also just really liked the cover, so we'll see what all the hype is about on that one. Next, I have another book by Alice Oseman. This one is not a graphic novel, but it's called Radio Silence. I think it's about a girl who listens to like a radio show or a podcast, and she doesn't know who the like host is, but then she figures it out and becomes friends with him or something like that. I also love how all of Alice Oseman's books explore like sexuality and being on the spectrum and all of that sort of thing. Like, she does a really good job about learning about all of that stuff and exploring all of that stuff. She makes that like a huge thing to include like diverse characters in all of her books, so I really love that. I feel like when you read a lot of romance like I do and that sort of thing, even like YA romance, contemporary romance, all that sort of thing, like a lot of it is very like heteronormative based and only goes like one way. So I like when authors kind of push the limits on that and kind of like normalize that a little bit more. Love that. Next, I have How to End a Love Story by Yulin Kwong. I have heard nothing but good things about this book on TikTok. Like, I've seen so many quotes from this book and I'm like, okay, I have to pick that up. Like, literally one of those like quote picture slides got me with this book. The only thing I have a gripe about is it's not in first person, which I really don't like. I don't like books that aren't in first person, but I'm trying to read more books that are outside of my comfort zone, and ones that are in first person definitely are. Okay guys, last book in this haul. Are you guys excited? It actually came in a little, it's an ARC, and it came in this little like box, and this is called Filthy Rich Fae by Geneva Lee. I mean, look, I dropped the box. This box, you guys, like it literally came in the box. It's so cute. I'm not sure if this is a series because I know she has some other books called like Filthy Rich something, but this one is just like a fantasy smut, I think. So thank you so much for watching this video and making it all the way through. If you made it all the way through, comment down below what book was your favorite from this haul and which one of you guys are gonna go run out and buy so I can feel a little bit better about spending all my money on books. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love you guys so much. Be sure to subscribe, follow me over on all my socials. I always have them linked down below. Please go be friends with me on Goodreads. I love seeing what you guys are reading and staying up to date with you guys over there. I'm out of breath, I'm tired, and unfortunately I have to put all these books away now. So, but again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.